Hey, you guys, it's your favorite commentator, Ali. I am going to jump right into this video. I want to give you guys a warning that I'm going to be messy, okay? Whether you guys deem this to be problematic is up to you. You know, this will be a commentary that obviously will be subjective, and this is all within my opinion. With that being said, let's jump right into the video. So, within the last few weeks, there has been a uptake of people adding their 2 cents on Olandria and Nic and their affection, an uptake of people consistently and continuously comparing Olandria and Nic to Shelly and Ace and to Taylor and Clark, right? And the last week or so, this has been even increased to the max because as of recently, Ace did this big grand opening statement for Shelly, asking her to be his girlfriend, and supposedly there was a girlfriend proposal. Not supposedly, there was a girlfriend proposal that Taylor did for Clark. And with that being said, people are trying to question Nic and Olandria regarding their relationship and the validity of it and the realness of it because of these two couples making it official in such a grand way. And my thing is, you guys even comparing the grandness of it all to the silence of Nic and Olandria is already a huge setup, right? You're setting your faves up, right? For discourse of people actually wondering, wait a minute, why did they have to do this grand statement of a girlfriend or boyfriend proposal? What would be the point? Why would the world or the fan base have to know this huge grand thing? This whole setup, cameramans and all, to do this grand statement of officialness. I mean, I can tell you why they have to do it, and I'll get there. But before we did go in there, I think that what people really hate is that Nic and Olandria don't have to be extremely loud and out about their relationship. They can just make a very slight statement or a very subtle way that they're moving and talking about each other, and people are still going to be latched on. People are still going to be grabbing at that, looking for little tiny crumbs, talking about the way that they looked at each other. And we can go on and on and on and on and on about how this clip alone in the background, the one where they're just sitting and like looking at each other, literally was talked about and is still talked about to this day. And this was like over a week ago. Now, mind you, that wasn't long, but in Nic and Olandria world, that's long as fuck, okay? Nic and Olandria, all they have to do is make a comment about what's me and mine, as Olandria stated in her recent podcast that was actually uploaded on Monday, right? She's referring to Nic. And all Nic had to do just last week is refer to Olandria as his partner, which, if you guys don't remember, partner is like the highest tier of romantic affection. And it's just, I find this to be hilarious because everything about them is very subtle, but very intense with the way that people are latching onto it. The way that people want to hear what they have to say, want to see what they're doing individually, right? And also as a pair, and we get so excited when they're going to be in each other's presence. I mean, we'll talk about it for days, even beforehand and after the fact. You know, we love Nic and Olandria together. We love them separately. We love what they give us, right? And it's been like that once again since day one of the show airing, and it's going to continue to be like that after the fact. I mean, think about it. The show ended in July. The reunion was in August. It's been 2 months officially since the reunion has passed today, right? So we talk about the conversations that are, you know, consisting of Olandria and Nic and what they're doing, so on and so forth. And I don't think you guys understand. They're here to stay, right? Nothing has to be very loud about their affection or the way they show their romance or even what they're giving to the fans, because the fans, we don't need much. I think the one thing that people are forgetting within the Nic and Olandria fan base is that we built this shit off of crumbs, okay? Crumbs and fucking delusion. So anything that they're willing to give us, I'm talking about Snapchat comments, I'm talking about Instagram comments, we're talking about reposts, we're talking about anything when they are not like with each other, we're going to grab it and we're going to talk about it for hours, if not days. It's that quote unquote serious for us, okay? That's how deep we are within it. They don't have to tell us, hey, that's my partner, that's my romantic partner. They don't have to tell us, hey, that's my boyfriend or girlfriend. It was never like that with them, right? And we knew this as soon as the Modern Love podcast dropped officially in August. We knew that things were going to be private, and we're not going to obviously see everything, right? They're not going to show us everything. Things are going to be very private between them. And honestly, as much as we like to quote unquote complain about that, because unfortunately there is a small part of us that complains, that does not mean that we don't appreciate it nevertheless. That does not mean that we don't understand it. And with that being said, the issue of the comparisons of what Shelly, Ace, Taylor, and Clark do regarding this grand production of girlfriend proposals and such, should never be compared to Nic and Olandria. And honestly, just to go back to what I was saying about why, Taylor and Ace even did this grand statement about being official with the girls, I think it could be like, it's very simple to me, the way that I think about it. It's like, it was literally one, just to reminding people that they're still together. Two, literally telling people that, hey, or like, I'm sorry, not telling people, but literally possibly getting people to increase the fan base, their following in general. And then of course the three is to simply get people to talk about them. And obviously it's working. I mean, hell, I'll admit it, I'm obviously talking about them right fucking now. Definitely their fan base is talking about them, and the way they're talking about them is always comparing them to Nic and Olandria in general. I don't know why they do it, right? I don't know why they can't just focus and support and celebrate their faves, but for some reason, Nic and Olandrians are always getting dragged into some bullshit. And with bullshit, let me tell you something, and let me remind you before I say this is my opinion, okay? This is a opinionated commentary. Okay, I already stated that it was going to be a little bit messy and a little problematic. With that being said, although I do think that the proposals were really cute, right? Very cute. I actually liked it and everything. I also can't help but think this is kind of childish to me. It kind of reminds me of being back in high school and getting a promposal or a homecoming proposal. That's what it reminded me of, just obviously with a bigger production. But it wasn't something that legitimately moved me. I was just like, oh, okay, cute, good for them. And just to wrap this video up about how it's setting your faves up when you compare them and what your faves are doing to Nic and Olandria, let me go ahead and give you a quick but blunt breakdown, okay? So Lace and Clayler were never the fan favorites, even when the show was airing. Okay? Nic and Olandria have always been the fan favorites, even when they weren't fucking together. That's one. Two, when we talk about the comparison of your faves deciding to put on this grand production for you guys, right? It will still never compare to what Nic and Olandria have, right? It will never compare regarding fan base wise, the number of the fan base, right? It'll never compare on popularity, so sorry, but it won't even compare when we're talking about aesthetically pleasing to look at. And mind you, that's not saying Shalace or Clayler are not aesthetically pleasing to look at. Sure, right? They are very attractive together, but when we're talking about the likes of Nic and Olandria, that intense affection that we see from them, now that's something that people can gobble up and eat up. And we will continue to do so. So comparing Shalace to Nic and Olandria, comparing Clayler to Nic and Olandria, just know that shit's gonna backfire on you, because Nic and Olandria is way bigger, stronger than you think. And we're talking about just the fan base alone, right? So when you as fans, the Shalacers and the Quailers try to come for Nic and Olandria and Nic and Olandrians, just know that we're coming back harder. I also need you guys to stop playing victim and going like, what was me? When Nic Olandrians are popping back off on you guys, because a lot of the time you guys bring up our faves completely unprovoked. And I don't think you guys understand that. Y'all hate when we, quote unquote, Nic Olandrians are doing that. I don't think it's happening as often, but y'all talk about it. So what makes you think that we're not going to come back and clap back stronger than ever? I'm just saying, I need you guys to stop comparing, because it's embarrassing when Nic Olandrians ratio, yo, okay? It's really embarrassing to look at, and it's really tiresome. And also, stop comparing what your fans, or what your faves are doing, to what our faves are doing. Don't worry about their silence. How about you worry about why your faves even decided to put on this big old production to prove their love or their affection to others? How about you think about that? And with that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Once again, your favorite commentary is out, and y'all have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye-bye.